Peace family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how we are living in the day and age of the mad scientists. Yes, the mad scientists. Dexter's Laboratory, all of the old weird shows and movies we used to watch, and the Addams Family about all these mad scientists, Frankenstein. Like, all of these shows and things that they made extremely light is literally the day and age that we're living in now. And one way we can tell is by them being allowed to be able to produce this kind of cartoon show or movie. You know, it's a lot of weird witchy shit that we deal with out here on a full-time basis. And somebody I had knew recently had just recently got one of the the ring bells, the doorbells with the cameras on them. And I was just thinking to myself, like, they are actually in like one of the whitest neighborhoods out here, where most of the neighborhood leaves their doors unlocked. Most of the neighbors have their spare keys somewhere on their back porch or in their front porch. Like, it's one of those neighborhoods where you don't even need this shit. But I realized, like, even prior with the other technologies that we have now, but when you growing in, learning about this information, and then things is just kind of correlating and you get into the clarification and verification you need, as things continuously progress, you'll see how obvious it is. So we all understand that if I get a ring bell or doorbell with a camera on it, I'm not the only one that has access to it. If I get a camera doorbell, I am not the only one with access to it. So if you think about it, the doorbells is like, it's even trickier than the phones, but when you have them together, of course, they're pretty toxic if you're using them in an unhealthy manner. But the doorbell, you can see when somebody comes and goes 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things to, like, if home is where your heart is and home is where you laying your head at, then why would you allow these entities to know when you coming and going when they already on top of knowing when you're coming and going? We have the cell phones with GPSs on them that they track us constantly. You know, I always thought it was weird that as long as we had these phones and these cameras, that nobody came up with a device that you can flip over and block your camera. I know people with computers, we put tape and shit over our cameras and stuff, even though they can still listen to us, but you knocking off one other avenue for them, you know what I'm saying? So, like I was saying with the phones, nobody's came up with an invention or presented it to the masses. Oh, here's a way you can cover your camera for people hacking in your phones and stuff, you know what I'm saying, that want to watch you. Because before, the cameras was only rear facing, now it's front facing as well. So before, you used to be able to sit your phone down, facing camera down, and you good. You don't have to worry about them seeing what's going on in your vicinity. They only could hear. But now, since it's front and rear facing cameras, it don't matter which way you sit your phone, they're gonna get some kind of visual of your location and where you're at. You know, they set up cameras all over at the red lights in a lot of these towns and cities that don't even use the cameras for the purposes that they said they put them up for, you know? I'm in a city, in a town where we don't get pulled over or we don't get tickets mailed to us for running red lights. Like, you can run all the red lights you want to, just don't get caught by the police. Simple process, but none of the cameras out here are actually taking pictures. The only one that actually does take pictures is the one on our 29, our main road, which is huge. But even them shits, man, you still be burning them shits up. They was only active when they first put them up there to instill fear in the people. But a lot of people already follow the rules in their laws anyway, so you really wouldn't need to put cameras up unless you want more control. And a lot of this shit is just about more control. You know, the more control and access they have to us internally, the more they can control us, you know. So they have to get their remotes and everything embedded within us, not outside of us, which is why slavery with the chains would never actually work. Now, you have it in some places, you know, in other parts of the world where it's going on, but one reason why it's not taking on a massive level is because it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. A lot of beings that don't even have knowledge, like even before you come into this enlightenment, you got a lot of beings and a lot of males who be willing to, you know, risk their life or lay it down just for some neighborhood shit, you know what I'm saying? So if it was bigger than just some neighborhood shit, that the physical chains wouldn't fly. That's why they have to work it the way that they work it now. And it's weird that people, you know, believe in even slavery. Like, there are indentured servants and there are places in other countries where they are putting it down hard. So, but that's not as far as for where we're at right now. You know, I only can speak for my home. My home is this land that I occupy right now. I don't occupy those other lands, you know. But I'd definitely be willing to help them if I had access to get over there to them without all the weird shit going on. Come on, y'all gotta chill. They gotta chill. Nature always gotta show itself in some fashion or form, you know what I'm saying? To just let us know that there is another force that's in charge out here. You know what I'm saying? I was just watching something earlier about people in their earbuds, you know, with these Beats headphones, the wireless and all these other ones, and you know, just about how unhealthy even the earbuds is, because it's feeding radiation and waves, and everything is going literally straight to your brain, straight to your spirit, straight to your pineal gland. You know, it's literally an intake. So us putting earbuds in is kind of like in feeding ourselves whatever radiation, knowledge, or vibration we're giving off into that earbud. Is no different than, you know, basically when they're drawing blood, you know, or injecting whatever kind of shit they want to inject into us, because we're injecting something into ourselves, you know. So it's a lot of tactics that they use out here that can become tricky, and you can get lost in it if you're not aware, you know. And when you are around out here maneuvering, and majority of the people and the masses are with you, or they just rather be complacent and comply with what's going on, you just know that you're gonna always be the resistance in that area. You know what I'm saying? We living in a day and age where all the witches and warlords are running and leading right now. So it feels weird to be somebody that has good intentions, a big heart, kind, caring, you know, highly empathetic, you know, understands sympathy like that. If you have any ounce of genuine sincerity into you for this universe, for this natural flow of life, you are gonna feel extremely out of place when you're engaging with certain beings, when you're even using some of the technology, you know? This universe and this world has been living for a long time without the technology we have, and we all been communicating and operating fine without the way that they reformulated the technology. The hugest difference with the technology and how they reformulated is a lot of this shit is not recyclable or reusable back to the universe. It will be in an unhealthy manner, but as far as like how they were building and using things before, it's not gonna be recyclable to the universe. So this tripod wouldn't be reused again unless they use it as a weapon or use it to build some kind of barrier house. I mean, we all understand we're intelligent enough. We could make something out of nothing. But when you think about how would the universe reuse it if everything was to shut down right now? It's like a lot of these buildings. You know, how would the universe reuse it? How would the natural flow of life? We already know that the natural flow is gonna grow through it and around it and under it and above it. But it still also is taking up land space, you know? it's being reused, but it's also taking up land space. It's like trying to find the right portions and breaks between learning and using the technology and taking breaks away from it. So even if you take a break away from it, you just want to make sure that you keeping your phone out the way. Stop getting the smart cars. Anything that they name smart, you're basically dumb. Any item that they say is smart, they're basically saying you're dumb. I don't have a smartphone. I have a regular phone. I'm smarter than this phone. Some other human being put their information and collected information and put it into this phone. That doesn't make this phone smarter than me. Just it's a collective of information stored in there. Same thing with the computer. Same thing with these smart cars. Why put that much dependability on someone else, you know? In my world, I always knew, like, okay, you get a super bag, you're not going to get one of these push start cars. I would rather get an old body car with a regular engine and build it or use that. That way I don't have to worry about having a microchip in my engine and having to take it to the dealership every single time I need it fixed, you know? And even though I don't know as much about cars as I should know, you know, these are all things that I keep implanted because I would be learning and putting my energy more into these other things if the system, if we didn't have these social norms to fit into, you know, and if it wasn't so much charge taken by the system to kind of lead and twist us where they would like to twist us and turn us to, you know. But we just have to be aware, like, they are working a lot of shit in the invisible world. The radiation, all that shit is real. It does affect you and your energy. It affects your vessel. It affects your thought process. It affects how you operate. You know, they are chemtrailing us, poison in the sky. That shit does affect us. Just because you don't see the white flakes come down and hit you, does not mean that the shit is not affecting you. You know what I'm saying? They are poisoning the water as well. We put lead and everything else in the shit. You know what I'm saying? But we all know that they want us to go down, you know what I'm saying? They trying to swipe left on us. And then we got the other ones that's out here fighting this good fight, you know what I'm saying? That's trying to keep everybody afloat and send us on to the next place and get rid of all this witchy shit that's going on out here, you know what I'm saying? But beware of this technology of the invisible world, you know, not so much as this camera, this phone. Be thinking about the beings that has this access to it that's using it. It's kind of like YouTube. When I think about YouTube, I built the website, so I know the analytics that you get from a website. YouTube was a website before it was an app. So when I think about websites, it's like, okay, well, if I were to put this thing on my website and allowed all these people to start signing in and making their own accounts, that means that I would have access to their information if that's how I decided to use it. So you have to understand that these applications, they're websites before they're applications. So they have access to your information. You know, they are able to control the narrative and everything else that's going on around it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you want to use the internet and be able to speak freely, you have to build your own website. Not use a third party like Wix or GoDaddy or something like that. You have to build your own, because even using their website builders, you have to remember website and Wix is a website. So then they have access to your information and they can tell you what to do on your shit. You know what I'm saying? So you have to build the website yourself. That way you are in control of it. And then you have to get all the traffic there, and then you have to conform it and translate it and transmute it into an application. So now you have to make it sociable for people to use as an app like Facebook, Twitter, and everything else. You know what I'm saying? But it starts off as a website first. It's a website, then an application. But I ain't want to run it up too long, you know what I'm saying? These are subjects we can run into and run it up for a long time. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.